Welcome to Bader International's Classic Online Motorcycle Sales. I just wanted to do a quick walk around on this 1960 Harley Davidson FLH. I bought this motorcycle along with about 4 or 5 other panheads. And as you can see, it's quite a nice bike. But when it came in, it was obviously been sitting for some time. Obviously, nobody really paid it much attention. So we put it up on the rack and just started going over what we needed to bring her out of the mothballs or bring her back to life or resurrect it from the dead or however in the heck you want to say it. But anyhow, it's a decent bike. I'm not sure if it's an original paint. I'm guessing that it's not. But again, there's indications that it is. But I'm sure there's other authorities out there that can tell me or tell us if this is a Jenny paint job. But again, it's almost too nice to be so. But again, it's an older one. You can see some wear marks in the tank where the seat has been hitting it for some time. So if it was a repaint, it was done a while back because it definitely has some time on it. One interesting note on this one here is if you look back on this fender, it looks like it has a little bit of a rust blister or something coming through, or something happened to this fender, at least the tail section. So, but again, we're not offering this bike up as a fully restored bike or anything. This is just a nice old, proper and honest panhead. But when we got the bike, of course, it had the stale gas, so we had to go through that. I went ahead and pulled the carburetor, air cleaner, everything. I rebuilt it, and when I do, I paint them black like they were back in the day. And after I did all that, I went ahead and tried to fire it up, put a new battery in it, of course, and checked all the fluids. And I'd kicked the bike and even gapped the points and everything, and kicked, and the thing just wouldn't run. So I put it back up on the rack, and I went ahead and checked the timing, and to me it indicated that the distributor was 180 degrees off. And I also looked down the cylinder hole, or the spark plug holes in the cylinders, and noticed that I could still see some crosshatch marks like it just had a new top end on it. And if you take a look at it, you can see it's got new gaskets, and obviously the cylinders have been repainted. And whoever pulled the top end off obviously busted this one fin. Thank you very much. So I went ahead and pulled the timing gears, or the timing cover, off, because again, something about this bike was just not right. It just wasn't firing, and it just sort of indicated that somebody's hands had been in this bike that may have not really known what the heck they're doing. So I went ahead and pulled the timing gears off, or the timing cover off. Pulled the gears, double checked all the timing, and come to find out, yes, that the distributor was 180 degrees off. So I put it all back together, reset the timing on the distributor, and again went to kickstart it. And it wasn't a very easy start, but again, when you come across these old bikes, you have to find the way that the bike wants you to start it, I guess is probably the best way to say it. And this bike here, you don't want to overflood it. You just want to go ahead and prime it once with the key off, full choke, kick it maybe once, maybe twice, and that's it. And then go from there, but you can't overflood this motor. It just doesn't want to go. So I went ahead and got the bike running, sounded good. By the way, when I pulled the top end off, the hydraulic tappets were completely cranked all the way down. So basically when you go to adjust these, you have to basically get all of the play out of it, and then go ahead and screw them up, or down I should say, 4 complete revolutions, which just puts it like a happy medium for the hydraulics. And then once you fire the bike up, the bike's going to be clattering and clanking and so on, because of the hydraulics aren't filled with oil. So once that I did, and I fired the bike up, it again clank, 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 and then it's started to quiet down. But also when you do that, you pull the your oil filler cap off to make sure that you get oil returning through your lines, because if you don't, then you have an oil pump problem, which this one didn't, and I was happy to see that. So I went ahead and rode the bike, ran it up the street, and I went to hit the rear brake and nothing, and I went ahead and pushed down on it harder, and basically it bound up the rear wheel. So I had to bring it back in the shop, sort of limped it back in with the brake depressed, and put it back up on the rack, pulled the back wheel, and I had to replace the line. As you can see here, it's a brand new line, and also the hydraulic wheel cylinder in the back, or in the brake drum. So then while I had it down, I went ahead and sandblasted the brakes and cleaned up all the drums and everything, so it's all good to go. So it's been sitting overnight, and as you can see, it has absolutely no oil drip or hydraulic drip underneath it, so that means I did something right. Either that or I need to check the fluids because they may be totally empty. But it's a neat bike, and also the electronics when I got it weren't working, and now I've got all the tail lights, which are really cool, going, and also headlight works. It has an original ignition switch, and it was a bit worn out on the little, what can I say, it's almost like a little dumbbell on there that actually makes the connection between them all. So, so I fixed all that, rebuilt the ignition switch. So she's ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and fire her up and take her up the block and make sure she does what she needs to do, and then after that we'll go ahead and take a bunch of photos, put her up on the website, and find a new home for this little girl. For more information about this bike or any other bikes that we have available for sale, you can contact me direct at 805-798-1802, or check out my website at www.batorinternational.com, or call me direct at 805-798-1802. I know I said that a couple of times. So anyhow, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any comments, please feel free to get a hold of me direct.